Hello, ladies and gents, and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. In this episode of Cycling Insider, let's talk about the buyer's guide for the 2021 Giant Defy Advanced Pro 2 road bike. But before we start, if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe and hit that little bell icon because it's gonna help in growing the channel. And of course, if you are already a subscriber, then thank you. So, as I was saying, 2021 Giant Defy Advanced Pro 2 road bike. We'll kick off with the question, who is this bike for? So you see, Giant Defy platform is a hugely popular platform. It has been on the market for a long time, and Giant keeps on updating this Giant Defy platform. So Giant Defy is all about endurance, comfortable ride, long days in the saddle. And definitely this Giant Defy platform, you can think of it as like a very comfortable Mercedes S-Class. That's how these bikes are really comfortable for the long days in the saddle. So if you are in the market for this type of the bike, then definitely have a look at the Giant Defy Advanced or Advanced Pro platform. Now let's talk about the retail price of this bike. So you see, the retail price is $4,300 or approximately 3,700 British pounds with the current exchange rate at the moment of this recording. So absolutely not a cheap bike. It is on the more expensive side, but we will see a bit more details when we dive into the technical specifications of this bike, and I will give you my opinion about the buyer's guide for this bike. As always, I strongly believe that you should negotiate the price of this bike, although now there might be some shortages of the bike supply because of all the situation in the world, but behave nicely, be nice, talk with your local Giant bike dealer, and definitely aim for about 15% discount on this retail price. For the sake of this video, I will be focusing on the retail price as it is $4,300. You are probably also aware that I am usually a big fan of Giant bikes, and the main reason is that Giant, since they are based in Taiwan, they are the biggest bike manufacturer in the world, but they control the whole production of carbon fiber frames and the forks. So everything from the raw fiber to the finished product, Giant controls the whole process, and that's why I believe that their products are superb high quality and also very good value for money in certain cases. So now let's dive in and let's see what do you get for your hard-earned money. You see, the paint scheme of this bike. Unfortunately, there is only one paint scheme to choose from, and this is this rosewood paint scheme, as they call it, rosewood with a hint of black and white, and it is a pretty decent paint scheme, looks nice, but I truly believe that on this level of the price, $4,300 retail, Giant should definitely offer you another paint scheme to choose from. Unfortunately, there is only one paint scheme to choose. Now when we look at the frame and the fork on this bike, so frame is a carbon fiber advanced grade composite from Giant, and also the fork is the advanced grade composite, this case full composite fork with the famous Giant overdrive steer. So this frame and the fork, just keep in mind, come with the lifetime warranty from Giant, and also this advanced grade composite, it is the highest level creme de la creme carbon fiber frame and the fork when it comes to the Giant Defy range. So you are absolutely getting a top-notch product, and I absolutely have no complaints for the frame and the fork. Also, classical thing is that frame and the fork are for 12mm through axles, both front and the back, flat mount disc brakes, and also for the internal cable routing, but that is kind of standard thing today, and you would expect it from all other manufacturers, including Giant. Now let's talk about some smaller pieces. What are you gonna get? Handlebar and stem. So handlebar and stem, again, Giant's own production. Handlebar is the Giant Contact SLR Diffuse, and this is a carbon fiber handlebar. And the stem is a classical Giant Contact SL, which is an aluminum stem. I absolutely have no problems with an aluminum stem, but I'm super glad that the Giant has included carbon fiber handlebars on this bike. When we talk about the seat post, this is the famous Giant Diffuse SLR carbon fiber seat post. I'm a huge fan of carbon fiber seat posts, and I'm glad that Giant has included it on this bike because again it's going to soak up some of the smaller road bumps, and this bike is all about comfortable ride, endurance, long days in the saddle. Speaking about the saddle, you're gonna get the Giant's own production Giant Fleet SL saddle. This one has a composite base saddle. But since saddles are always a personal preference, if you got a saddle that you truly like, I strongly recommend you to keep it as long as possible and fit it on any bike that you can. So this Giant Fleet SL, I haven't used it. If anybody has any experiences with this, please do let us know in the comments below. Now let's talk about the group set on this bike. So you will get a superb mechanical group set from Shimano, and this is the Shimano Ultegra group set, Shimano Ultegra R8000. So everything from the shifters, front mech and the rear mech, everything is Shimano Ultegra mechanical group set. Superb choice, best value for money when it comes to mechanical group sets in my opinion, so I absolutely have no complaints in the drivetrain department. Speaking about some other components of the drivetrain, let's talk about the cassette. So Giant didn't cut corners here, and they have included the Shimano's Ultegra cassette, and this is 1134 cassette, and you see this cassette is paired with the crankset, which is Shimano's Ultegra crankset. Again, superb choice, and this is 3450 crankset. So this crankset and the cassette, 3450, 1134 cassette, you definitely won't have any problems in attacking some steep mountains, and this gearing is definitely focused on the endurance long days in the saddle. All this drivetrain is finished with the chain from KMC, so you're gonna get a KMC X11 SL chain, perfectly fine chain, on the levels of Shimano Ultegra. Absolutely, I have no complaints here. Now let's talk about the braking performance of this bike. So you're gonna get the superb Shimano's Ultegra hydraulic disc brakes, and these hydraulic disc brakes are with Shimano's RT 800 braking rotors, Shimano Ultegra level braking rotors with ice freezer technology, and the front rotor is 160mm rotor, but the back rotor is 140mm. And I really don't know why Giant did it, because this is an endurance bike and you should appreciate the braking performance, the feel, the power, heat dissipation. So this 140mm braking rotor at the back, yes, it's gonna save you a few grams compared to the front braking rotor, but I just think they are sacrificing too much with the braking performance. And this bothers me so much because Giant has put together a very nice package on this bike, and then they throw in this 140mm braking rotor at the back. So what I would do in the future is, when you destroy this braking rotor, I would easily upgrade to the Shimano Ultegra 160mm braking rotors. So this is my opinion about these cutting corners with the small braking rotors at the back. Now let's talk about the bottom bracket on this bike. It's a classical Shimano press fit bottom bracket, and knowing that Giant does very good quality carbon fiber frames, I'm not expecting any creaking noises from this press fit bottom bracket. When we talk about the wheelset on the bike, you will get the Giant's own production Giant SLR2 carbon disc wheelset. So now let's dive a little bit deeper and let's see some technical specifications about this SLR2 carbon fiber wheelset from Giant. So of course, as the name suggests, this is the carbon fiber wheelset, carbon fiber rims, and this wheelset is the 42mm rim height, 19.4mm inner rim width. This wheelset comes with Giant's own front and rear hubs, ready for the center lock disc brakes, and I will just mention that at the rear hub there is a 3-pole system with a 30-tooth engagement, and these are of course with the sealed cartridge bearings. front and rear axle are 12mm through axles, and the spokes on the wheelset are from Sapim, 24 spokes both at the front and at the back. And the total wheel weight package, front and rear, is 1,545 grams. I consider this a very light wheelset for this carbon fiber wheelset on this level of the bike. The only thing I don't know about is the reliability of these hubs from Giant. In the old days, Giant would use some kind of internals from DT Swiss. That was a superb choice. Now I'm not sure if they are using any parts from DT Swiss or this is purely Giant own production. So if anybody has any experience with Giant hubs, specifically on this wheelset, please do let us know in the comments below. But the total weight of this carbon fiber wheelset, very impressive, 1,545 grams. And also, of course, the rim on this wheelset is the hookless type rim. You can turn this wheelset into the tubeless wheelset. You'll just need the tape and the valve. I'm not sure if Giant includes this immediately out of the box. I think they do, because when you briefly look at the tires on this bike, you will get Giant's Gavia tires, which are tubeless tires. These are 32C tire, absolutely superb choice. I like that Giant has included this 32mm wide tire on this endurance bike, because you will have a lot of air volume and the ride is just gonna be so much more smoother. Speaking about these rims and tires, lots of times people get confused with this Giant hookless technology, that there are only certain tires that you can fit on these Giant rims. This is technically not true. I will leave a link in the video description where you can read a bit more, but long story short is, if you use any tubeless tire that is compatible with the hookless rim, and if you want to run it on the pressures above 72.5 psi or 5 bar, and this tire is not, let's say, on the list of these approved tires from Giant, you can run this tire, there is no problem, but you are doing it at your own risk. On the other hand, if you want to run any of these hookless, tubeless tires on the pressures below 5 bar, so below 72.5 psi, you can basically run any tire that you want. So as I say, there is a bit more information and I will leave a link in the video description, but technically I think people are panicking too much that there's such a limited choice of tires, and technically this is not true. So just please pay attention to the link I will leave in the video description. Now, speaking about the total bike weight, Giant doesn't give the total bike weight of this Giant Defy, but I will expect that, for example, in my size large for this bike, I would expect it to be close to 8 kilograms. If anybody has really specific and check the bike weight for this Giant Defy Advanced Pro 2, please do let us know in the comments below. I would really be interested to see what it is. But I'm guessing it's just gonna be a competitive bike weight. I'm not expecting anything super light or anything kind of way below 8 kilograms. So now, in a summary, I will just focus on the few small details that bother me with this bike. So, as I was saying, when it comes to the retail price of $4,300 US, my opinion is always that you have to negotiate, you have to be nice and negotiate nicely and aim for about 15% discount. Second thing that kind of bothers me on this bike is that I don't understand why Giant has included a 140mm braking rotor at the back. I just think it's cutting corners and kind of trying to save weight on a part that shouldn't be saved weight on. I wish they have included 160mm braking rotor on the back. And one small detail is that there is only one paint scheme to choose from, which is this rosewood, and I wish that, since this bike is expensive bike, that they have included at least another paint scheme option. Except from that, everything else is superb and I don't have any special complaints about this bike. So, I think this is gonna be it for today. If you like what I'm doing, please do subscribe and hit that little bell icon so you are always notified when I make a new video. And as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Pura Vida!